Hey, this is Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop. I want to give an update on the bone shaker build I was doing. This is the first custom I've done in a long time. I'm just about done. For the most part, the only thing I'm really missing is the screw. For some reason I ordered them and they just have not come in yet. So essentially what I did, we'll start. I updated this on the first episode, which would be episode 1. I took the wheels off of a Jada Big Time Muscle Chevelle. And I ran into some problems only because the shaft size of these are much bigger than a Hot Wheels. So what I did is I ended up using, what's it called? This stem wire from, I don't know, I guess some sort of floral arrangements. And I used that to make the shaft for the back. The front, the width was fine, so I didn't have to cut the shaft. I did have to notch out a little bit more, obviously because of the diameter, and I had to notch down a little bit. So I did this. I painted the brake rotors front and back. Then I went on to detailing, and I took the interior. I was just playing around with some different ideas, trying to come up with some ideas to make it a little bit more, just make it stand out a little bit more. Nothing fancy, just painted. Everything was chrome originally. So, and then came the body, and I hemmed and hawed. I was going to leave it bare steel. So essentially what I did was I stripped the paint, then I just cleaned it with a wire brush. I didn't polish it, I didn't do anything like that. I was kind of waiting to see what I was going to do for paint. So what I ended up doing after many thought processes was to weather it a little bit. So what I ended up doing, aside from painting the interior like a semi-flat black, I used this stuff. I got this at Michael's, and it's just a burnt umber ink, and it's very thin. So what I did was I applied with a brush multiple layers. I brushed it on, and then I wiped it. I left it on for maybe 10 seconds, and then I wiped it off, and I did that 3 times. And what it did is it was able to really fill in the door jambs and all the body lines really well, and it kind of gives almost a rust look, bordering on copper. And what I did after that is I took some of my, let's see, I used this weathering kit, and I used the oil stain color. I just darkened up a few areas. It's probably hard to tell. More down below, like where the exhaust would hit, and then a little bit on the cab corners, which would predominantly usually have a problem anyways. So essentially, that was that. But overall, it rolls good. It's not snapped in good, but I've got, I put a little highlight on the wheels, a little red. I painted the Hot Wheels symbol on the bottom, because that's on the actual interior, not on the base. And I would say, like I said, aside from that one screw, this is done. So the next project that I'm looking at, I actually got 2. One is this original, this was the orange with the stripes, the flames. This was from my original collection, and the motorcycles pretty much were destroyed. The handlebars are broken off. I mean, I launched this thing down my driveway so many times I can't count. So it was really beat. So what I'm going to do is begin customizing it. I'm taking the motorcycles out. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet. I do know that I'm going to use these M2 wheels. They get the yellow writing on the Goodyear part for the raised wet lettered. I got them with the M2 kit for the Firebird. So I'm definitely going to do that. So I'm not sure what other custom part I'm going to do, but I do know it's going to include those wheels. I'm definitely going to finish off the bed one way or the other. I'm going to fill it in. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with wood or I'm going to go with sheet metal. I don't know. I may Mad Max the thing. I'm not sure. But I do know I'd like to paint it like a really high gloss black. Make it kind of stand out. Because there's so much good detail on these things. I just really think the lines and the curves and for the fenders and the flares, I think really would look good black. And I'm also working on this Paramedic van. I've showed some pictures on my Instagram account. And this was another one out of my original collection. So what I'm doing, I guess I'm trying to utilize as many wheels as I can out of the same kit there with the M2. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that is going on here, and they're going to fit just perfectly. Well, I say just perfectly. I pretty much had to destroy the base. I had to cut. The problem is the width of these wheels are so wide, which really looks good from a stance point of view, but from a customizing point of view, it sucks. So I pretty much cut up to these ladder bars, and I guess you want to call them the inner wheel wells. Here on the front, they had the same thing on the back. I had to cut all that out and then cut a little further. So I put my tube in already. Again, these ones aren't so bad as the M2s. They get a smaller axle shaft. And they do come with their own axles. Unfortunately, the fronts will work fine, but the backs are going to be too short of an axle, so I'm going to make my own. More than likely going to strip this, and I actually thought at one point about trying to kind of keep it the way it was and maybe add a light bar, because it's got kind of a nice patina to it, but I'm not sure. So if you guys got ideas, I'll be more than happy to listen. One of my ideas was to strip this, paint it almost like a flat white, and then put a big mural on the side. Somebody suggested a van from a movie, so but that's got a lot of panel stripes on it. I don't know if that might exceed my talent level as far as pinstriping and masking. So not sure yet, but I do know the wheels is always like where I start. But I do have some ideas. I'm just not 100% positive. So, but anyways, it's not about this. It's about the Bone Shaker. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Once I get it bolted together, I'll be a lot happier. But yeah, I think it came out good for my first custom in a long time. Probably at least 10 years. 2007, so 11 years. Anyways, that's it. And if you guys like this, make sure you subscribe, like the video. It helps get it seen by more people. And it makes me feel really good inside. But anyways, I'll see you guys on the next episode.